If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Divinus. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
When I stumbled across your music and I listened to your Shiva song, I was like, oh, I have to talk to this guy because, like, you have a flow to your voice that I just geek out on. How did you get started in music in the first place?
Well, when I was 2 years old, my uncle, was a drummer and I loved that. So I just took pots and pans and started beating on shit and everything else. And that's where the rhythm comes from. I was in band in high school and middle school and, elementary school. I've been playing drums since then, and, drum is just rhythm. So that's kind of where the flow comes from. I kind of treat rapping like drumming with my voice, thinking about the syllables and how it lays into the beat, what sounds are going on when I'm saying what, how I'm saying it, And that's kind of how it started.
But in terms of like the flow right now, right? Because like that song that you just put out, that Shiva, it's a little bit more than just flow, right? Because you're picking the musicality that lays behind that.
Yes.
Was that something you always had an interest in?
I mean, when I started rapping, I was going to be like what's that word they say? A conscious rapper or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, so at first I started with just lyrics and everything else. I was going to speak about what's going on with the world, what's wrong with the world and everything else. I noticed, people don't really care for that at all, especially from someone that's not known in any way, shape, or form. So I started to have more fun with it, and I wanted my music to be an actual vibe. I wanted it to literally set the tone for wherever it's playing, So when I go now to write, I choose beats first and think about what I'm going to write about before I even choose the beat. And then I choose the beat off of the emotions that I'm feeling. And then after that, that's how it just spills out of me, because it's all real life stuff. There's some times where I'll do wordplay just for fun and everything, but most of it is completely from my life.
Which is fascinating to me because like you and I just sort of briefly talked a little bit, but one of the things that your profile talks about is like you've died so many more times than you can count. And I can see how that sort of ties into the lyrics and the music that you've put out there.
Yeah.
So like take us through some of like the meaning behind like you, for example. Like was that based on something that happened along the way?
So for me, with how I found the name Divinus, I was actually tripping balls on acid. I was up for 3 days straight. I was trying to go back to sleep, and I was listening to this YouTube mix, and it literally just said it just whispered in my ear, Divinus. I was like, what the hell is that? That means something. I looked it up. It was my real name, Devin, in Latin, and it means prophetic / godlike and everything else. This was right when I just started writing music. I was just a drummer before that. But then, I started to find my voice, and so I was looking for the name, and it just came to me. So that's how I became Divinus. As for the times that I've almost died, I mean, I used to sell drugs and stuff like that and everything else, and being involved in that, the street culture and everything else really puts you at risk. I've had guns to my head multiple times, almost got my skull bashed in, stuff like that. Other things like stupid things like driving drunk like an idiot at like 100 miles an hour. I lost control of the car and flipped the car 7 times. Lucky I survived that. There's so many stories of where I should not be here, but here I am.
And then what prompted the change, right? Because you made that shift along the way into what you're all about now.
Yeah.
Was that one event that sort of like pushed you in that direction?
Yeah, I would say meeting my wife has really set me straight. We were both with toxic exes at the time. I was with my third baby mama. She was with who she was engaged to, and neither of them were letting us chase our dreams of the music and everything else. And I want to be the best that I can for her. I actually wrote Shiva right before I met her and kind of put it out to impress her. So, yeah. I mean, I
I
don't
love
know. Yeah, her name's Haley Max. We got songs together.
And I think that's an important thing, right? Because it's one of those things where a lot of people may not understand just how far you'll go in a toxic relationship to survive. And so like I never begrudge people that are in a toxic relationship that are under substances or that have sort of like they're doing what they need to survive because they're
Yep.
sort of stuck in this relationship.
Yep.
Uh, how freeing was that to finally kind of turn the corner and get into a relationship that's supportive?
Oh, it was heavenly blissful. Let's just put it that way. I've never felt anything as freeing like it in my life. Literally, it was crazy. We got married after 3 weeks. Actual wedding, actual venue. Don't know how we threw it together. Craziness. It was, it's amazing. She's currently back
That's
in
actually really
St.
epic.
Louis right now, pregnant. Poor girl. It's okay. Happy though.
So are you kind of touring right now?
Right now, I came up here to meet my producer. He lives in Abbotsford, Canada, and I don't have a passport, but he does. So I came up to Washington to meet up with him and stuff because of some other personal things that are going on. And yeah, I mean, so I'm just waiting on him right now because his microphone when we met up was absolutely trash. So we got to get another good one, and then we're gonna end up recording quite a few bangers. I got like 20 songs that I need to record right now. Even though I have my own equipment at home and I know how to record my own stuff, I just wanted to come finally meet him. Me and him have known each other for 5 years, over the internet. He's been a fan for a long time. I helped him figure out how to make beats and everything else. I remember he's like, "How do I become better?" I was like, "Just music theory." And I've had so many people hit me up like, "Hey man, I love your shit. How do I get better, Everything else." And I always tell them that none of them ever listened. He's the only one that did. Ended up going to school for music and everything else, and now he makes banger beats. So, and he knows what he's doing. So I came out here to meet him.
So, and I want to talk about that for a second, right? Because I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize just how valuable music theory is, regardless of
100%.
the genre, right?
Yep.
Even rap. So,
Yep.
why is your advice to people to take part in music theory?
Because not everyone has the natural ear for music. So the only way to overcome not having the natural ear for music is to know the music theory. If you know the theory of music, then you don't even need the ear because you know exactly what works because you were taught.
And like, what is something that somebody may not realize in terms of music theory that lends to a good song?
Something as simple as the golden ratio, the golden ratio, those simple three chords. If you just put them in a different way than everybody else has, it's gonna sound good.
I love that. And then how did you learn music theory?
Just band and stuff like that. And I don't even know as much as he knows now, but I'm a drummer. I'm not a percussionist. I'm a drummer. But I still know my 4/4 times and my crescendos and all those many things.
Which I appreciate. It was one of the things that I liked about Divinus, not Divinus, sorry, but Shiva, is how you have that sort of slow sort of introduction that gets right into it.
Yep.
It's one of those misnomers. It's like you don't really know what kind of music it is
Until it
until you're
slams
like
in.
10 seconds in.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that something that you sort of picked up along the way, or was that just something that was like, I want to try this once?
Well, really, the way Shiva came about is because I started promoting on Instagram and I figured out that one of the cheapest places to promote for cost per view and cost per follower that you end up gaining is in India because their population is so huge. And then since it's such an impoverished country, not only that, but I love the Bollywood sound and I loved it before I even realized that. So I literally was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a Bollywood type beat. I'm gonna throw some Hindi words in there because if you notice when you're listening, there's some Hindi words in there. Like when I say Jew God, I'm not talking about Jew God. I'm literally it means cool in Hindi. I got the
I love
coolness.
that.
I really got
I
the Jew God.
love
I'm a
that.
speaker. I got the coolness. I'm a speaker. You know what I'm saying? So I really made it
Yeah.
for them, and I just haven't promoted it in India yet, though people from India do tend to like it.
And then how did you come up with the album cover? Because that album cover for the cover for that song is dope.
Well, actually, my ex's, my third baby mama's dad actually helped me with that. He had been helping me he's made another one too called Psycho, which Psycho is a completely different vibe. It is completely pop punk. It is not rap at all. It's rock 100%. I can't wait to drop that one, but kind of waiting until I get a little more traction before I drop it because I have a feeling that it could go crazy. But anyways, back to him though. Yeah, no, he came up with that. I was like, just put Shiva on there, the goddess Shiva, And so that's whatever he did, that's what he did. It looks awesome though, for sure.
It sure does. And one of the things that I ask all of the musicians that come onto this podcast is about the muse, because I really do think that the muse is a living, breathing thing, and we never know when the muse is going to visit us.
Yeah.
So, how do you capture the moment when the muse visits you?
Well, I would say it's more for me, it's always after I've went through some hell. And I can sit down and try to write whenever and it comes out fine, it's all right. But it's when I've been through something recently that's really screwing up my life and everything else where, as you say, the muse comes to me and makes me shit out fire. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even it's the time where I don't even have to think about the next line. It comes before I'm even to it, 3 lines before I get to it, you know?
And when that happens, do you like have a video or a recorder on your phone? Do you have like a notepad? Like, how do you capture it when it comes?
Yeah, I just put it on Notepad, though I would probably say that I need to figure out how to just do a quick recording or something like that because it's just much faster. And in this day and age in 2025, almost 2026, it's all about the speed of how fast you can pump content out and, how consistent you can be. It's not, oh, make an album and then wait 3 years. It's, no, make a song every single day.
And you kind of have to with the current media makeup to sort of make it.
Yep, you do. Literally.
One of the things I'm curious about, so like when you have that song like a Shiva, right? Do you record it sort of like in layers?
I did some layers, yes. It depends. Really, I use layers as an artistic effect. Like I'll use it to punch the end of a line to make it just hit a little harder, or even just a whole line. One line won't have it, the other line will. Uh, like with the song that me and my wife did, "Do This Get Dirty," she's got like 5 layers on the chorus. It sounds amazing, and then I have absolutely none except for just some dubs on certain words and stuff like that.
But then what about the music piece of it too, right? So like because uh you have different sounds on that particular, like you were talking about, has that sort of like Bali feel
Yep.
or Bollywood feel. Like how do you select the sort of instrument sounds to sort of make that?
Well, honestly, I didn't make the beat. I go and I find producers that make beats and stuff like that. I have quite a few beats that I've made myself. And when it comes to that, really, I would say thinking of old hits and other things that other people have made already just for that inspiration as well as that I know it'll be that mental trigger to them when they first hear it. That'll be like, I've heard this, but it doesn't sound like what I've heard. That's fire, you know?
Now, do you remember like at what point along the way that you realized that you were pretty good with rap and flow?
Uh, it took me a little bit. It was really when I did my first song, which is called Let Me Dream It, is when I really realized, oh shit, I could probably do something with this. That's not even really out there. I have half of it out there with some people that I worked with from my hometown in Alton, Illinois, Grass Mask Records. I don't know what they're doing now, but yeah, I was like, oh shit, this sounds good. And then I still hadn't figured out how to record myself yet until my song My Kids and Friends. And when I put that out, it got over 1,000 views in the first day. And that was because it was my first song and a lot of people knew me. I really wish I would have been able to promote that a lot more. I wish I would have spent more time promoting that and getting that drop ready. I wish I would have had a release party and everything else because I probably could have blown up overnight if I would have taken the business side a lot more seriously, you know?
And it's one of those interesting things though, right? Because like if you're talking about the business side of music, it's almost like counterintuitive because
Yep.
most musicians' brains are built sort of like on the artistic side and not the numbers and financial and the business side. And so
Yeah.
uh is that something that sort of like you've picked up now along the way that you're sort of getting used to and sort of
Oh
getting
yeah,
the idea of?
100%. Yeah, my biggest song called When I Walk in the Room has like 90,000 streams and it's because of the way that I rolled it out. And I actually made money on that song. I made like 3 grand on that song. Not from the streams, but from merch sales and also I met this lady named Tisha and she ended up sending me like $1,500 just to help me try and promote it and stuff like that cuz she liked it so much. She's actually someone that was working for Sony at the time and she was going to get me signed, but because of COVID, of course, nope, no signings at that time. Right around when I met my wife too, she hit me up saying she was gonna get me signed again, but then an investor dropped out, and I believe she just hit me up saying she was going through a divorce, and the dude she married was the one starting the label, so I don't know what's going on with that, but it is what it is. It's not like I'm waiting for it. Just gotta keep going either way. I'd rather make it independently anyways.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where you like if you're on a label, then you have to like cow or cater to what they want to say and what they want you to do. And
100%.
I am a firm believer that music suffers when the artist isn't allowed to be themselves in their
Yep.
art.
Yeah, she even said that I would have no control over my image and everything else and all this and all that. So I'm like, which, at the same time, I do need an image makeover and everything else, right? For this industry. So it's not like I'd be worried about that. And then not only that, I don't have to, it would be their money that they're using to buy the designer clothes and all the other shit. I don't have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lose and a win at the same time with stuff like that, you know?
And then what about your how have you been performing?
I've been doing open mics and any shows where I really can, you know? I used to be able like I miss Periscope a lot, the live streaming app, because Periscope, I knew the hacks on how to get views on that thing. I'd literally have hundreds of viewers at all times, but kept happening was my second baby mama kept breaking my phones over and over and over again, so I couldn't be consistent with it. Not only that, but you know, I would get a little I would get a little too sexual at times and get my accounts banned over and over and over again. And so, like, I had a stream one time where I had 20,000 viewers. I gained 9,000 followers in one stream, and then it was banned before the stream was even over.
And the fact that somebody else can dictate that regardless of whether it's enjoyed or not is what I have a problem with all of these streaming platforms today.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, just cause I'm some random broke dude that had 2 hot girls trying to kiss him at the same time doesn't mean you need to ban me.
Especially when you're like you're not playing like you're not out there saying, "Hey, look at this kid-friendly show."
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, the titles that I would use were definitely 100% not kid friendly, and I'd make sure I put the 18 plus and all that, so it doesn't make sense really that they be like that.
It's so strange.
But I mean, it's all
Mm.
right. Just got to figure it
So
out.
so I'm curious about the origins of the In the Moment song.
Yeah. So I used to drink really heavy, really bad, and a lot of mistakes and angry things came from all of that. And so after finally recognizing, realizing the problem and starting to slow down and everything else, that song really is where that's where that came from is, we're only in this moment for one moment, so you better make the best out of it and be the best that you can be for every moment that you're here. That's kind of how that came along. My phone's dying. I'm trying to get it to charge.
No problem. We could pause for a second. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Awesome. And I think you brought up a good point, right? Because like a lot of people are under the impression that you kind of need to be drunk in order to perform well. But I argue all the time that I know a lot of artists that are no longer drinking or drinking a lot less, and their art is just as good as, if not more.
Yeah.
And so, like, uh, was there like something that sort of like outside? Was it that the time that you talked about like flipping your car drunk? Was that the sort of like the last time you were like, shit needs to change?
Well, that's when I really realized that shit needed to change, but it still took quite a little bit after that. It's honestly when I first met my wife and we got into it on like the second or third day that we met that I was like, "Haha, nope, I'm done." Because this one's special and she's very amazing and she has the voice of a goddess. So, some point it would be really cool probably to get her on here too because you hear her sing, holy shit, I'll send you a link.
You got it. Yeah, because I'm curious, because you're talking about like that choice, right? Was the once you made the decision and you stopped, was it easy to sort of maintain, or was it hard to get through that initial hump?
It was easy to maintain until really stressful things hit, and then I've broken 2 or 3 times because of that stress, and that was the thing that I would run to. So, but it's not as hard as you would think it is, but it's still pretty hard. I am actively every day trying to figure out, better coping skills and things like that than drinking because it still comes to me like, oh, well, you could just drink a couple of beers and not have to feel this anymore. But then again, when I do that, then I feel it more, and then I start raging and then going off on people, and then have to deal with even more shit after that. So it's like, fuck that, you know?
And it's one of those things. Alcohol can be like such a damaging impact on people, um, and it's one of those like I I find it interesting that alcohol is one of those chemicals, if you will, that is 100% legal,
Yeah,
but yet weed is not legal everywhere.
yeah,
And I
that
and
blows
I
my
bring this
mind
up
too.
because like, what's that?
I said that blows my mind too. I've been talking to people about how I feel like, alcohol should probably be illegal, but we learned our lesson from that with prohibition. That's just not gonna happen.
At the same time, though, it's like I want weed to be legal everywhere because I know so many people that were able to quit drinking because of marijuana,
Yep.
and the whole like concept of like marijuana being a gateway drug is not real from what I can see.
Yeah, no, it's really not. I mean, I smoked weed before I ever drank, and I would say it was never a gateway. I definitely I literally had cocaine around and I sold it, myself, and I never touched it. So I don't think that, weed would be a gateway to that or like heroin or meth or anything like that. I feel like those things are the gateways themselves. It's like I don't understand how people think just because you'll do one thing means you will definitely do something else.
And I think it's just like a lot of misinformation out there. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, for sure. People just don't want to know about these things because they alter your mind, even though everyone always looks for a way to alter their mind every day, whether that's through music or movies or comedy or sports or anything.
But if we circle back to the music
There we go.
piece though, right? So like if you're talking about like how you sort of like created the music and sort of like how you launched it, what prompted you to choose which platforms to use?
Well, I would have loved to been able to just put them on all of them in the beginning, but DistroKid wasn't a big thing yet. And so, I mean, really, I try to have it absolutely everywhere. I don't really have a choice on a platform. I try to make sure it gets everywhere. I want people to be able to search it up on TikTok and use it on TikTok. I want people to use it, be able to like post a story on Snapchat and be able to search the music up, Facebook, everywhere, because the more places it's seen, the easier it's going to be. My phone is definitely going to die. It's just not charging.
And we're back. Thank you so much for coming back. Technology is a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of talk to you about like the performing side of things, right? Because there's a lot of misconceptions out there about attending a hip hop show. Because a lot of people might be afraid to attend a local hip hop show because they might have this misperception that it's not going to be friendly or fun. Can you put that stereotype to bed?
Yeah, I mean, I think a metal show. When you think about shows in general, I think a metal show would be scarier than a hip hop show. A lot of people are more intimidated by the metal shows, but I don't know. I think it's like that with any social event. A lot of people have social anxiety. It's kind of hard for a lot of people. I don't know how I would put that to rest really, besides just get out there and go and do it, and you'll see that whatever you thought in your head was just made up in your head, and you'll have hella fun.
Yeah, because most hip hop music is not about anger and aggression. It's
Yep.
about feeling the vibe and feeling the motion, which is
Yep.
totally different.
In the moment too, for sure.
What do you like about being on stage and performing?
Oh, I love it when people explode for my shit. That's what I love. It doesn't always happen. I don't know. Like two or three performances ago, I almost got bored halfway through the set. But I think that was just because I was so tired because I just drove 6 hours, and it was just a crazy day. But yeah, like it's really the most important thing I think for performing is making sure you're in front of the right crowd, because when you are, you kind of know when you're in front of the right crowd just by looking at people and everything. And you could just the way that they react to something that they've never heard gives me a high that no drug ever could.
And what about the audience performance, right? Not necessarily audience performance, but what do you as an artist like to see from the audience when they come to your shows?
Well, I really like when it see, because I'm not all that known by that many people. So when I'm at shows, it's a lot of new people that are hearing me. So I really just like watching them react and tapping their friends on the shoulder, like, "Did you just hear that?" and everything else, and just the recognition of something is different in the room now that I am performing. That's what I love about it, for
So,
sure.
so talk to me a little bit about that piece, though, right? So you're talking about that you love the vibe and everything when people are like, "Oh shit, did I just hear that?" Like, one of the things that I'm curious about is like when you're on stage and you see that happen, how do you maintain your composure and like finish the song without, because like I would geek out and like stop
Well,
performing like, oh, I noticed that.
a lot of that comes from, like I was talking about with Periscope earlier and stuff like that. I've just done it in front of people, with even if the people weren't there, I was imagining them actively, and my mind is actually being there, just like how we're talking right now. I know you're really there in your room in Portland, talking to me. So I started to think about it like that when I started going live for people and everything else, and it that anxiety just kind of went away. Plus, I used to do the drum solos that like introduced the basketball team during high school. So like I had 6, 7, 800 people watching me for that too. So I just stage fright isn't really there for me except for right before I go on.
And one of the things I'm curious about from the perspective of a drummer, right? Because in some artists prefer the drum to maintain the count. Other artists prefer the bass player to maintain the count. When you're in that sort of like drumming mode, do you like it when you're being the one that's forced, not forced, but like just sort of you're the one that's responsible for the count piece?
So, it really depends on what style of music, you know? Rock, country, other things. You're really trying to be on, you're the driver of the song for the speed, for everything, for the loudness, for all of it. But when it comes to like jazz, you're supposed to just be an accompaniment, you know? You're supposed to be, as they say, in the pocket. And so really it depends on what you're playing, what you're feeling, and what the vibe is really for what it calls for, you know, because I love all genres, so not one is better than the other. All of them have their golden gems. So
Oh, I completely agree. Like one of the things I love about music, and I really believe this to my core, is there's no such thing as bad music. It's just
yeah,
music you like and music you might not like. And
yeah,
I
it's
think
very
that's just a
subjective.
matter of personal preference.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been told my stuff is trash 1,000 times, and I don't care. I don't listen because I have like 100 other people that have listened over 100 times, you know. And I can. That's what I love about SoundCloud too, is you can really connect with the people who are truly listening to you, you know. Which Spotify is now starting to integrate that, but SoundCloud's always had more of that, much easier and better.
Do you find that SoundCloud and Bandcamp offer more like sort of compensation for artists?
I would say yes in this current time, especially with what's something that SoundCloud just rolled out like 2 years ago. It's called fan-powered royalties. So if people that are listening to you pay for SoundCloud and they listen to you mostly, then a bunch of like most of their subscription actually goes to you and not SoundCloud. Like this my song
So
Talk About Me. I got paid $30 for only 70 plays because of who was listening and how much they listened to me. You know what I'm saying?
that's actually really cool.
Yep.
So
I don't.
like because
I
like
haven't
SoundCloud, if
exactly
you pay a
figured it out
subscription,
yet. I haven't exactly figured it out
what
yet how it really works. But the really stupid thing though is you have to pay $30 a month to be able to get the fan powered royalties. So to make sure that you're actually getting your money back, you gotta make sure that you know your base is on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying?
so you still have to pay the $30 a month for it, but see that makes me go. That makes me pause for a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like we're at a time now where musicians are being charged to perform and to provide content. When
Yep.
it seems backwards to me
It
that
is.
these companies are making money from the subscribers and the musicians. That just
Well,
doesn't seem fair or right to me.
yeah, that's well, when it went all digital, they got control over that. It's actually like a monopoly and should probably really be looked at by the US government because, you know, monopolies are illegal, but hey, whatever, it's music though, so doesn't matter apparently.
Yeah, and we're getting more and more monopolies as we grow as a society. And I
Yep.
remember there was a time where they broke up monopolies, but now they're just rushing through these mega mergers. So there's only one option, and
Yep.
that doesn't do anybody but the billionaire class any good.
Yep. That is the truth. I
And
mean, I
it's
think
kind of
it's a part of the
and it's
whole
sorry.
moving to the one world order thing, you know? Because really, in the end, the only way, I'm not gonna lie, this is really stupid. I don't want it to be true, but it's true. The only way that there'll never be terrible wars across the whole world is for the whole world to be under one government. But when that happens, then we all lose control completely. And I mean, there will still always be skirmishes because rebels and everything else and stuff like that. But I mean, to really not have any war between countries, then there needs to be only one country. And that's such a hard subject to get into, really. I don't even know where to begin with it.
Nor do I. And really, what it comes down to, though, and the part that I think is important, is when you're talking about hip hop music in general, you're
Yep.
talking about a forum that was started underground, that
Yep.
was started as a protest movement,
Yep.
and now that that has turned into commercial capital, I'm like, what kind of country do we live in?
And it's really the world too, because this isn't the only country where hip hop is huge, and it's one of the biggest across the world now. Oh, connection issue.
So in terms of like, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, oh, connection issue. My phone cut out.
You
Oh,
still there? Okay.
yeah, it's good. There it is.
So in terms of like developing your style, because like you were a drummer in like different kind of genres and all that stuff,
Yep.
what was it about hip hop music that got you started in hip hop?
Well, I would say it was really well, I started smoking and then I started listening to Wiz Khalifa. That's where a lot of my style came from. You can hear it in some songs. I've really come to my own flow and style now after years of doing it, as well as many other influences from within the game and stuff like that. But really, the main influence for my style and everything else was Wiz Khalifa. It was those times of first smoking weed and listening to Medicated and Young, Wild, and Free and just living life. And those moments that I felt, I want to recreate that for people with the music that I make as well. Not even really recreate that, but give them their own moments through me, you know? Because it was amazing.
Yeah, because like I talk ad nauseum. Like I've said this like 17 million times already on this podcast, but at the same time, like so many people rely on music to feel. So like if you're going through a divorce, there's a playlist for that. If you're going through
Yep.
whatever life challenges, there's a playlist for that. And
Yep.
just how important music is when people are experiencing stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. The music is one of the driving factors to society. It kind of reflects the state of society with what people put out and everything else as well. Like you can look through the decades and look at some of the biggest songs and you can tell, who was doing what and where and when, just by the music. So I really think it's probably one of the most important elements of humans for sure.
Well, and if you think about it, music in itself is kind of like a miracle because if you're thinking about like the idea of putting together a song that has different layers, different aspects, different vibes, and the fact that we can create this music and share it to people all over the globe is what makes us uniquely human.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, I don't even know if consciousness could exist without it, really. I mean, I guess it could, because there's actually some
Or how
people that genuinely do not like music, which is weird. I don't know many of them, or if any, anymore, but there are people that genuinely, I don't listen to music. I'm like, bro, what? What are you talking about?
well,
Or
I mean,
those one people that'll exclude a
I
genre,
actually,
whether that's country or rap. The both of them get it a lot. Rock gets it sometimes too, but it's like, how, you know?
well, and I think it's a matter of not being, uh, not finding, not giving sort of genres a chance. And
Yeah.
also because like I grew up in a non-music family. my
Right.
my dad did not really listen or engage in music,
Yep.
and I think that's just because it was something his parents didn't really put in him. And
Yeah,
when I
that's true.
experienced music for the first time, it changed my life.
Right. When was the first time you experienced it like that? Like you're
The
talking
first time
about.
I really experienced music, I was 16 years old. And I remember I had my first job, and I'm like, I wanted to buy a CD
Yep.
and a little CD player. And so I bought Metallica Black,
Oh, hell yeah.
and I hated it. I hated it for the first 3 times I listened to it.
My
And
first
then when I
cassette tape
listened to it
was
the fourth time, I finally,
it was
yeah, go
Dream
ahead.
Theater.
First cassette tape, please.
Dream Theater.
Oh, yeah. See, but I didn't get it. I didn't realize that music was supposed to be angry.
Yeah, it's
And
sometimes.
so I'm like, why is this album yelling? But then like, oh, they're supposed to be yelling. And
Yep.
that changed the whole dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Dude, I
And
love,
I
oh
remember the
man, I
first
love
time I
Guns
heard
N'
Snoop
Roses.
Dogg. Oh my god.
Yeah. Dude, Guns N' Roses is amazing. I got a song contributed to them and the alcohol stuff. It's called Self Destructive. I love that song. Man. Even though people don't talk about it much from within my community still. It's one I love so much. Just because Guns N' Roses is crazy. They lived, the real true rock star life. Like when you think about what a rock star is, they did it, you know?
And how much of we could learn from that, because it was one of those things where before those bands at that time, it really wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Keep getting
But
connection
how
issues too.
true to like, yeah, I've noticed. Mhm. So let's do this. How can people find more about you and your music?
Well, I would say just go listen to it, and you can just look me up on any platform, Divinus. If you really, really want to follow me and get to know me and talk to me and everything else, I would say hit me up on Instagram at Divinus618, Divinus 618. That's,
Was there a reason for the 618?
yeah, that's where I'm from, area code.
Of course.
Yeah.
I realized that right when I asked the question too.
Good old 618 cornfields. Oh, yeah, Illinois, man. St. Louis region. Yes, sir.
And it doesn't really matter where you're from. If you can put out the good music, I'd say more power to you.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I really think it's all about the life experiences that you've lived where you're at. And people think, that, the street shit and crazy shit doesn't happen in the smaller, edged suburban towns. I'm sorry, but that's where the crime leaks out to. That's where you're selling the drugs. That's where it's all the product from the inner cities is going. You know what I'm saying? It's either that or they're coming out there to get the stuff, So it's like, I don't know, like it doesn't even, I don't think it matters where you're from at all, though within hip hop people say it does, but there's one side of hip hop that says that and then the other side. And the one side is gangbangers and the other is musicians.
And I think there's a distinction between the two. I really do.
100%. Yep. Like I've been through a lot of that
Because
sort of shit, but I don't live by it at all. I don't want to live by it. I want to leave all of that behind. Bye. You ever had a gun to your head? No. I don't want that. It's
and the
crazy.
fact that you can sing about that experience and let people know what it's like without them having to have a gun at their head, I think is
Yep.
huge.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't know though, cause like I don't know if I don't people don't I feel like people don't really grasp it as much. Cause like my wife knows like a lot of my music by word and everything else, and she hasn't really realized how real it was until she was with me and knows me now. And it's like they can live vicariously through those words, but they'll still never really understand.
Totally. Mhm. Like the closest I ever got was being chased by a dude with a sword, but I was never
Oh, that's just
within
as
10
scary
feet.
though.
Yeah, but I was never within 10 feet. So my life wasn't really in danger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, I
So,
feel you.
like,
Yeah,
just,
no. The dude put the
yeah.
barrel to my head right here. I started swinging on him, got 3 or 4 good licks in on him, and then he, pistol whipped me. Good, whatever. I literally got knocked out, went to the ground, blacked out, but was still conscious within my mind. I was like, dude, I just got shot in the head. And I get up, and then I feel the back of my head, blood's rushing everywhere. First thing I asked the people that were there, which, were like, oh, yeah, I'm ride or die, when they all ran out the room as soon as the pistol came in the room. Like, dude, are you serious? Fake, but it's fine. But no, yeah, no. I asked him. I was like, "Did a gunshot go off?" No. Did a gunshot go off? No. Okay, we're good. Went to the hospital, got it dealt with. Staples. It was fun. Good times. Not really, but
But
it's all right.
it just
I survived.
that whole experience though, like when you're sort of like almost like an out of body experience and just
Yeah.
sort of laying there like not knowing if you're actually alive or not must have been so confusing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ever actually hit the ground. I went down to one knee, and then I even started getting back up before my vision came back. It was really weird, but it was the first time I truly seen stars. It was pretty nutty. I just had focus on I just kept the focus on the moment of what was happening, what was going on, what I was losing, if I lost everything or not, and if that, I checked that instantly as soon as I got up and everything else, and then, yeah, went to the hospital, had it dealt with, and kept moving forward, you know?
But then also realizing that you have to return to that life because opportunities did not necessarily present themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I stayed in it for a little while longer, but I ended up leaving. You know, I don't know.
Well, can I ask you a hypothetical question? Because this is
Yep.
something I hear from people all the time,
Yep.
right? When you were back in those days, had somebody come up and given you an opportunity for a job that paid 150 grand a year and you could have left that life, would you have?
Yes.
And that's
All
what I
day
want
long.
people to understand is that before you judge somebody for selling drugs,
Yep.
take a look at why they have to in the first place.
Yep.
If people don't have the opportunity to live without selling drugs, they're going to sell drugs because they need food. People need to live.
Yep.
And so this
Literally.
misconception about it is just stupid to me.
Yep. Yeah, it's well, I don't know. It is not a good thing, for sure. It's not a bad thing because there's always going to be addicts, and if you're one of the ones who's going to be the good ones that make sure you're testing your product and making sure that everyone's getting safe shit and all of that, then you're actually doing the user a service by being the one that's providing to them because you actually care about that. But for the ones that don't and will make the fake chemicals and sell it knowing that it's fake and killing people and whatever else, that's the real problem.
Yeah, it's when you get the laced with fentanyl stuff that you weren't expecting is when people die.
Yeah, and I can't believe how crazy fentanyl went since it's came into the scene, you know, literally it's everywhere. I'll never buy a pill from the street ever because of it.
You and me both, you know, and I know so many people that are now hooked on opioids because of
Yep.
a prescription their doctor gave them.
Yep. And that's the last place that they have to look is in the streets. It's pretty crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, because especially like a few years ago, they made that choice to like not or to stop prescribing opioids, and then a lot of people were left without a pathway to get cure, without any treatment options, and so the only option is to turn to the streets for the pills.
Yep. And that's where it gets to be a problem because, like, all of them are got fentanyl in it. You can tell, though, I mean, it'll fall apart in your mouth pretty, like, way faster than a regular pill. You can tell it's, like, pressed together.
Interesting.
Yep. I've spit shit
So
out
if
over
somebody
that.
is doing that and they figure out it's pressed, I guess it would be like that's your opportunity to sort of like try and contact somebody because it might be laced, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the street pills will definitely be pressed, and some of them are still legit, even if they are pressed. But it's the fact that they were pressed by people that aren't being watched by the government that makes it a problem, you know? Because it could easily have fentanyl in it.
And it goes back to that sort of legalization conversation we had at the beginning of this podcast as to if we had everything legalized and regulated so
Yep.
that we knew it was safe, we could stop people from dying.
Yep. That's like, I mean, even in the, you know, in the hospitals, they use fentanyl. They give people fentanyl as a painkiller and stuff, but the way they're doing it is the right way. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's such an
No, it's
addictive
gonna be.
chemical. I don't think it should be in anything anywhere, unless. But I've never. I mean, I broke my back in 3 places with that drunk driving crash that I had with myself, and it was very, 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 very painful. So I mean, maybe that the next day after I woke up, that was the hardest to get into bed and out of bed for 2 weeks that I've ever experienced in my life. It was brutal. Like laying down, I'd just be screaming.
And what was the recovery time on that?
Like 2 to 3 months, I think. I don't know. I actually recorded. I recorded "Lost My Mind," "Down and Out," "When I Walk in the Room," and a few others in the neck brace right after it happened.
Wild.
Yeah, on my 50 Cent
Like,
shit.
I'm trying to imagine recording an album in a neck brace.
Yeah, it's actually not as hard as you think. I don't know. It actually gave me better. I would say it gave me better posture for my vocals. It forced me to have better
Yeah,
posture for my vocals. Really did. Just had to loosen it the
that's
littlest bit.
interesting. Yeah, because like I know like if I'm sort of like involved or touched with music, my body has to move. And so I was just like envisioning like my body wanting to move to the beat, but then in a neck brace, you're kind of like ow, ow, ow to the beat.
Yeah, I will say though there are techniques too to like dancing around the mic that will make a recording sound very different and good as well. Like move it just like when you see, singers singing live and they'll move their vocals back because they're going high away from the mic, and they'll come in closer for quieter parts. The mic is an instrument in and of itself as well. It's not even just what you can do with your own vocals out loud, it's how you'll use the microphone as well.
Interesting. So you it's sort of like tricks you can play by based on how far away the microphone is.
Yes, yes. Because it'll pick up certain different vocal dynamics and everything else depending on how far you are from the mic or where the mic is located and placed.
That's so fascinating.
Yep.
I guess I just didn't really put two and two together, but like I'm thinking back on all of these songs that I know where I'm like, how did he do that? Or how did she do that? And now it's like, oh, that's a distinct possibility.
Yep. Plus, I mean, also, now you got the press and pause button. So dubbing things and putting extra sounds in and everything is quite a lot easier. Really gets into the DAWs, the digital audio work programs and what plugins they have and everything else for the effects that they're putting on their vocals now these days.
And so right now you're working on your next bit of music.
I mean, I have a few things in the vault. I'll actually send you Psycho unreleased. You can hear it and let me know what you think. That is a complete 180 of my whole style. It's pop punk completely. But yeah, I mean,
Now,
I actually got the one that I'm really, really excited to record is it's over an EDM-ish style type beat, and it's insane. I wrote it on the way here over things that were going on in my life, and that one. I don't know, getting chills right now just thinking about it being recorded. And if I promote it the same way I did when I walk in the room, that thing, it could go crazy. I know it could.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. For that one, I am so excited, dude. I can't even contain it. Oh, wife's gonna be mad. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. She's a
Well, we've
musician. She
actually
gets
been
it.
at this for about an hour.
Nice.
So, Divinus, please go check out their music. Please check out the band. If I highly recommend Shiva, like is that it's one of those things where like it catches you off guard and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I love Shiva. I was just
So
excited to drop that one too. I just didn't
that
promote
was
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
So we've already sort of covered like where people can go and find more information and all that stuff. Are you going to be doing any local shows while you're up in Seattle area?
Yeah, I'm looking for stuff right now, so I'll communicate about it. I think we're gonna hopefully plan to meet up in person and do another one. That would be awesome, so we can, cook a song on the podcast for you. That'd be pretty awesome, I think. And I'll talk more about what's happening then.
You got it. Divinus, thank you so much for joining us. And I'll end the podcast the way I always end the podcast, folks. Be kind. We all live on the same planet. We share the same air. And this planet would just be a much better place if we all treated everybody with dignity and respect.
Amen.
Divinus, thank you so
100%.
much for joining me.
Yeah, much love, guys. Stay lit. Thank you, Sean. Y'all are dope. Bye.